We're singing. We're singing. Dun, 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 dun. Time to talk. Beauty and the Bitch.
Morgan.
Oh, hey, sweet baby.
Hi. So, girl, hello, how are you? How you doing? All that stuff. We just have to get right into this because, girl, I saw this Spider-Man movie and I have so much feedback.
Yes, girl, I saw it too. Tell me what you thought.
Okay. I'm glad we both saw it because, it's rare for us both to have seen and read the stuff. Which no tea, no shade. It's difficult. Life is hard. Okay, so I really liked the movie. I did think there was one part that kind of stumbled, and it was when he put on that dark eyeliner and started dancing down the street. Like, I got character-wise why that worked, but I was like, girl, this doesn't feel like Spider-Man to me, you know?
It's really confusing because what I hear is you did see a Spider-Man movie, but you did not see the Spider-Man movie that we are talking about.
No, it's the most recent one. It's called Spider-Man 3.
Oh, girl, there's been like 4 Spider-Mans since that one or something.
Oh, girl, I'm so embarrassed. I watched a couple to get ready for this episode.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Pretend I didn't even say that. Okay. So I also saw, I did see the newest one. And here's the thing. I thought the animation aspect would turn me off, but I actually really loved it. Like, no lie. And I was like, this is a really interesting, place for Spider-Man to go. But I didn't think that was Tom Holland because I thought Tom Holland was white.
Tom Holland is white, and Holland is featured again in the newest Spider-Man film, not Into the Spider-Verse, which is the one that you saw.
Wait, I'm confused. Why, if he's white, did he have black skin? I mean, I'm fine with it, but it just seems like, why not cast a black actor?
Talking about Far From Home. Did you see Far From Home?
Who is she even? I've never even heard of her.
Girl, that's the newest Spider-Man movie.
Well, in my defense, there are more Spider-Man movies than there are spiders in a fucking egg sack. I mean, I don't even know there was another fucking movie. I didn't see the goddamn movie. I'm so sorry.
You are not alone in thinking this way about the Spider-Mans of the world.
The Spider-Mans, all the Spider-Mans?
Yeah.
Okay, so did you see the actual newest Spider-Man movie?
I did, and we are here today to talk about it.
Fabulous! So these 4 pages I pulled together on Spider-Man 3 and Spider-Man Enter the Spider-Verse are useless.
Useless, yeah, it's going to be great. It's perfect.
We call that pulling a Morgan, I think.
Oh!
Ooh!
Speaking of shade, welcome back, babies, to another episode of Beauty and the Bitch. I'm Morgan, the person who researched the right thing.
Oh, and my name is Mick, the beauty.
Well, whatever. At least I'm smart.
Okay, would you prefer to be smart over beautiful?
Now, I have it both, so it's so hard to feel like, what should I give up?
Well, okay, that delusion aside, you know what? If I could be beautiful my entire life, I almost would rather be beautiful, but here's why. I feel like the smarter you are, the harder it is to be happy. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's like a depressing, sad thing. But I've noticed a trend where often smart people, they just find it very difficult to be happy in this world. And I would rather just be gorgeous and blissful.
Ignorance is bliss.
Yes, queen. Well, okay, so Morgie, since I didn't even see this goddamn movie, can you give us I guess we should probably do a spoiler-free synopsis, more or less spoiler-free?
Yeah. Yes. So the quick rundown of Spider-Man Far From Home is it's set in the Marvel Universe post Infinity War. So it's the first movie after Infinity War comes to a close. And so if you're watching this, you've seen that, so you know this is a world without Tony Stark, and Tom Holland as your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man is reeling from the fallout of that and trying to cope with it because they were really tight. And so basically he's like, I'm trying to get back to my existence in my high school, where also all his friends happened to get zapped away, but they all came back together and they're all still the same age. It's perfect. And he's like, I just want to be a normal kid. So he wants to go on a school trip that's taking him far from home. It's set in Europe, going on a European vacation with his school. Okay. And while he's on his European vacation, turns out the world still needs saving. And so the SHIELD people, like Samuel L. Jackson and those folks, try to come to him and be like, girl, we need your help. And he's like, girl, I'm on vacation. And it's kind of like a back and forth of them being like, but you still have to be a superhero. And him kind of trying to come to grips with what his role as a superhero is versus his role as being a fucking 16-year-old kid.
Yeah. See, I wouldn't dig that. They'd be like, girl, come save the world. And I'd be like, I just took a hit. I literally am so high. You have the worst time.
Yeah, like, right? I'm in Amsterdam, bro.
Yeah, completely. Okay, so, wait, so you mentioned something that I have a deeper question about. I know you're not probably completely done with the synopsis, but how do they deal with the people who were snapped and then unsnapped? I'm very confused about that.
So all of the main characters from the Peter Parker verse, like all of the kids and teachers and everyone that you know, they all got snapped, just like Peter did. And so they all come back together when everybody is like brought back to the world. And then they do address it by being like, there's like one character that was like, ooh, this annoying kid, like 4 grades behind us, and now he's in the same grade as us, but now he's like, he's on the glow up and he's all like hot and he thinks he's hot shit and stuff. And Peter's like, you're just a little twerp or whatever. And they both like Mary Jane, and he's like, back off, you're just a kid. And he's like, we're the same age now. So they like try to address it, but yeah, everyone who matters just got treated the same as Peter Parker.
Interesting. Well, that seems kind of like lazy writing, but I'll give it to them because it's a weird, awkward thing to have to like conclude, I guess.
Yeah.
But that seems like quite the coinkydink, doesn't it? That like everyone associated with Peter Parker got snapped. Basically. I don't know.
Yeah.
What are the chances, girl? Really? Well, I guess it's a 50-50 chance, huh?
I guess so. But still, every one of his friends, I mean, 50-50, girl. Let's go.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he's being solicited to help, and we're introduced to a new character of Mysterio, who plays a central role in this film, played by Jake Gyllenhaal, who did a fantastic job.
I love Jake Gyllenhaal. Who doesn't, though, right?
Yeah, I think he's had a really good career arc. Like, he's done some really interesting things. So I don't like despise him as like a longtime Hollywood person. Like, I think he's made interesting choices.
I do too. I mean, pardon me. I choked on all my intelligence. That happens sometimes.
Okay.
Okay. He's had some missteps though. Didn't he do like King of Persia or whatever?
Prince of Persia, yeah.
Prince of Persia. That was a misstep, right?
Everybody makes a mistake. At least he like Green Lantern, though.
Yeah, that's true. What's his name? Ryan Andrews? No, Ryan Reynolds. Reynolds. But I have to agree with you. I love Jake Gyllenhaal's most of his career choices. Like, obviously, Brokeback Mountain was amazing, right? Oh, there's a truck backing up next to me. Go away. They don't know how important I am. That's the problem.
They don't. He's been in some like weirder like indie things, and of course Donnie Darko's a classic.
Of course, that was the first thing I ever saw him in, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. Same.
Wasn't he in like a Bubble Boy movie as well? Yeah, do you remember that shit?
He was Bubble Boy. Yeah, that shit's fun.
What else? I should pull up his IMDb here. I can't think of what else he's been. I know he's been. Oh, Jarhead. That was huge.
Oh, yeah. People were into that. I don't care for that military stuff personally, but that movie was well received.
Yeah, I'm with you, Queen. I was like, there's no way in hell I'm watching this movie. But I did think he looked pretty hot with that shaved head.
Yeah, I think he's got a good looking face. I'm into it.
Well, you know what, though? I have to tell, I agree. But I have to tell you, I find him sexy within roles, like when he's playing a character. In interviews and stuff, like, yeah, he's not ugly or anything. I'm not saying that, but like, he looks real bulgy-eyed in interviews or something it just doesn't do it for me. I don't really know. Have you noticed that?
He does have like really intense eyes.
Yeah. Which, I mean, I'm not trying to compare myself to Jake fucking Gyllenhaal. I mean, I don't want people to be like, well, girl, you look like shit all the time, and you don't even have eyes. You just have dicks in the middle of your face, or something. So,
Rude.
I don't want to. I know people are so rude to me. I don't understand why. I'm America's sweetheart,
That's one way to look at it, yeah.
It's true.
So, I'm looking through his IMDb, and a lot of the stuff he's done in the last 8 years has been more like indie stuff, more like character sort of acting. He's done a couple of like bigger Hollywood things like Prince of Persia, Love and Other Drugs, Jarhead, like you said, but a lot of the other things, Nightcrawler was a big indie film that he did that got a lot of buzz at the film festivals that I saw.
Yes. I've heard he's terrifying in that.
Yeah, it was bananas.
Yeah, a lot of this stuff, though, I have to be honest with you, I have neither seen nor ever heard of.
Yeah, it's artsy shit.
Oh, he was in The Day After Tomorrow? Oh my God.
That's old school.
Yeah, that was a shitty-ass movie, but I have a soft spot for it. I don't know why.
You love destruction.
Well, you know what? I do kind of like catastrophe porn, like when the world's exploding or like New York's frozen or underwater. Like, that is interesting to me. I don't know why. Probably says something horrible about my personality.
But that's okay. That's who you are. You should embrace it.
Thank you so much. I'm just going to embrace my evil dark side. Oh my God, wait. I lied. The first thing I saw him in was not Donnie Darko. It was motherfucking October Sky. Do you remember that shit?
Oh shit. Was he like a child?
Yes. And he was into rockets or whatever. We watched that shit so many times in science class when there was a sub. Do you remember that?
I do remember that. He was in City Slickers also. Classic.
Yes, he was. Wow. Yeah, that was 91. That must have been like one of his very first movies. Holy shit. Well, okay, so anyway, Jake Gyllenhaal, hot or not, you're saying hot, right?
Yeah, I'm on hot team.
I'm fully on the fence. Now, if he has a cowboy hat on his head, yes, I will fuck him. That's just period.
Right.
But if he's just answering a bunch of questions in front of a green screen, I don't know, man. I might pass. I'm not gonna lie. I might pass.
That's fair. That's fair.
Did you like him as Mysterio?
I thought he was so good. And I think he did such a good job that I found it hard to even like try to mentally recast him. Like, I think that he nailed it because like without giving too much away, everyone knows Mysterio is the bad guy. It's in all of the trailers or whatever, but like you meet him pretty quick in the film and he seems to be a friend and he plays this kind of like two-faced role really well, I think. Really well.
Well, that makes sense. He so often plays characters with like weird darkness in them. Like they're charming, but they're dark,
Yeah.
Like I always think of Donnie Darko for that. I mean, I know that was so long ago, but that is such a complex, odd character. He's like so charismatic and so fucking weird at the same time, you know?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, he does that well. And he kind of has the face of like, I'm a good guy. Like he just looks like an all-American boy. So like you buy him as the good guy, but then he has those crazy eyes where you're like, oh no, he's fucked. He's fucked.
I was going to say, girl, it is all in the eyes. Mm-hmm. You know what? He kind of has eyes. They're like almost as big as fucking Frodo Baggins. What's his name?
He kind of, I think like him and Tobey Maguire, who was the OG Spider-Man from our era, and Frodo, I think they all have these like weird physical traits in common.
It's strange. It's one of those things. It's like what makes you a beautiful movie star doesn't always translate to real life. Not that all those men are gorgeous, but it's like how Tom Cruise always plays an action hero, but the motherfucker's like 3 foot tall.
Let's spread that fact. Tom Cruise is 3
yes.
tall.
And he played the evil leprechaun in that Leprechaun horror movie, too. Yeah. But there was no makeup involved. No makeup at all. That's just what he looked. I fucking hate Tom Cruise, but that's not what this is about. Actually, you know what? Speaking of Mysterio Queen, I pulled together a little two truths and an illusion for you. You want to try your hand at that shit?
I would love to.
Okay. So this is two truths and an illusion about Mysterio specifically. Okay. So, are you still there?
Yep.
Okay. It sounded like you just got gored by a rhinoceros, but I'm sure you're fine.
That's so weird. Everything's good.
Okay. Okay, so number one. In the comics, the original Mysterio had lung cancer and a brain tumor. And in a crossover with Daredevil, he fails to drive Daredevil to murder him, so he commits suicide.
Shit.
That sounds like a Mick Parker fabrication to me, but, you know, be yourself, whatever
Dark
you think.
hell.
I know, I'm dark, girl. I'm just like motherfucking Jake Gyllenhaal over here.
Yeah.
Okay. Number two. In the Old Man Logan timeline, Old Man Logan, like that movie Logan, right? Mm-hmm. Mysterio tricked Wolverine into killing essentially all of the X-Men. Oh. Horrifying. I don't think that's in the movie either way, but it's a possibility. Okay. And number three, Mysterio was introduced in Amazing Spider-Man #1, which makes him an older and more classic Spider-Man villain than even the Green Goblin.
I think you made that one up.
What? How did you see through my illusion, bitch? I have a fishbowl on my head.
The other ones were so detailed and also horrifying.
There was a lot of dark stuff I found out. Yeah, I didn't do a good job. I'll tell you what, though. I didn't do a good job making those all seem equally fake or whatever. You know what, though? Mysterio was introduced in number 13.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so he is an early villain. And he actually is earlier than Green Goblin, I believe, as far as who was introduced. But then they retconned him to actually have been introduced in number 2, Spider-Man number 2, because there are these masked villains who, like, you never see. They're like, not hobgoblins, shit. What's that? Like, helpers, little helper people. What do you call those people? You know.
Assistants?
What's that?
Executive assistants?
Exactly, except for supervillains. Yeah. So they were like these masked executive assistants, and you never saw who was under them. And then they retconned it to be Mysterio and to henchmen. That's the word, henchmen.
Wow. So retconning is a big part of moving forward in the Marvel universe right now because they've had all these like different iterations of like Marvel characters like spread out, right? And now that we've like acquired X-Men and we're revamping Spider-Man and there's been all these other Spider-Mans, I think there's going to be some really interesting things happening with the multiverse to try to bring all that together.
Fascinating. Well, yep. And look, here's the thing with especially Spider-Man and his universe. It's such a like doofy universe in a way. You know, like his villains are so fucking stupid. I feel like they need to retcon them in some way. I love them, but they're ridiculous. So they kind of have to retcon them sometimes because people are not going to swallow like the original Vulture, for example, right?
Yeah. And like compared to the big bads that we've had in the Marvel universe, like I mean, like Thanos and all the shit with Thor, all this like ethereal space nemesis shit that they've had to deal with. Like they can't be like, and then your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man also battles a giant lizard. Like, no, why? Where'd it come? Like, we need more information. Like, that's so stupid.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I love the Spider-Man villains, though. They're so ridiculous. They're all animal-based. Most of them are, anyway. They are. There's a lot of whimsy in Spider-Man. You know, when I was a kid, Spider-Man was my favorite superhero. And, well, Spider-Man, Batman, they kind of vied for top. But Spider-Man was the one I thought of the most. And I think it was because, you know, the 90s cartoon especially was so whimsical and, like, colorful and shit.
And everything's kind of funny with Spider-Man. Like, his villains are funny. Like, he's cracking jokes, and he's kind of like the everyman because he's like, hey, I'm just your neighborhood teenager, but I happen to be a Spider-Man.
Completely. What do you, by the way, speaking of him being a teenager, how much longer do you think Tom Holland can play this role?
So we talked recently about this, and I Googled to see how old he is, and I think he's 23 now. And he is just so dang youthful. But I agree, like, he's 16 in the movie. Like, how many more can he do? And I think it's maybe like they're going to have to age Spider-Man up fast because your boy's growing up.
Absolutely. Well, and that's, of course, there are versions of the comic where he's grown, you know.
Yeah.
But for the MCU, they're not going to jump ahead by 20 years, probably. I mean, well, they might. I don't know. But
it'd be good if they jumped ahead to, like, college years, you know, like, he can't be 16 forever.
No, but he could, I mean, you say he's 23 now.
Yeah.
He could easily play a 19 or 20-year-old. Like, that wouldn't be a stretch at all.
Agreed.
You know.
Agreed.
That's interesting. Well, you know, speaking of retconning and all the multiple universes and stuff, did you see Into the Spider-Verse?
I did, and I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was going to be, like, overhyped, so I was kind of like, maybe it's not as good as everyone said it was, but it was just so fucking fun. I just thought it was fantastic.
I really liked it too. I was unsure. I have to tell you, I do suffer from some Spider-Man fatigue.
There's been like 15 in like the last decade or something.
Yeah. And like, he is a great superhero, and he has lots of potential. And I especially love the Tom Holland version. I didn't watch the Andrew Garfield version like at all. I just skipped those.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
It wasn't great. Andrew Garfield looked damn good in that suit, though, Queen. Oof.
Yeah, he's cute. But so I went and saw the new one at the Draft House, and they do the pre-show, and they did a rundown of every Spider-Man film that's come out since the Tobey Maguire one started. And of course, he did 3. Andrew Garfield did 2. And then there was like a couple other like animated things in between. And then Tom Holland's on his second full-length feature, plus Into the Spider-Verse just came out. So it's been just a lot. And they said that the Andrew Garfield ones, like the amount of money that they made was like at the bottom of the barrel. Like even Spider-Man 3, the shitty one where he was emo, made more money than the Garfield ones.
Wow. Well, to be fair to Andrew Garfield and those 2 films, Spider-Man 3 fucking sucked. So, I mean, maybe people saw that and they were like, girl, I don't want to see another Spider-Man film for a solid decade. So, I don't know. You know what? I generally don't think I've seen the Andrew Garfield ones. I really don't. I don't know who he fights.
The second one was really bad, and Jamie Foxx was one of the villains, and it was such a strange choice, and like, it was pretty bad. It was pretty bad.
Does he play Electro? Jamie Foxx? Yes. I remember seeing like previews or something.
Yeah, and like they gave him his powers in a really bizarre way, not in a traditional Spider-Man way, but the way they gave him the powers, it didn't make sense, and he wasn't a very good villain. And then there was also like 2 other villains. Like sometimes they're just trying to shove too much into one film. And then on top of that, I think Gwen Stacy died, and then Spider-Man was dealing with that, and I was like, girl, it's too much.
Did her neck got snapped when she got thrown from that bridge? Is that how they killed her?
Remember? I can't remember because I only saw it once, like when it first came out.
That's how she dies in the comics. You know, it's like I think Green Goblin throws her from like the Brooklyn Bridge or something. Oh. And I remember I read that comic as a child, and I cried so hard because he caught her. He got her with his webbing, but the snapback is what snapped her neck. And there was, oh gosh, I just had never seen a superhero fail like that, I guess is the way to put it. I don't know. It really broke my heart. And it's too bad they wasted that death on the Andrew Garfield movies, because I think that could be extremely powerful, but whatever, I guess.
Well, we'll never know now because we got Mary Jane.
That's right. I mean, everyone prefers Mary Jane anyway, I think. I hope. Yeah.
I think so.
But Gwen Stacy's into the Spider-Verse, isn't she?
She is.
Yes. I fucking loved her. Oh
Yeah.
my god, she was amazing. She was my favorite character in that whole movie.
Yeah, she was very good. Mm-hmm. I like Spider Pig.
Well, you would.
Oh, I'm not even mad. It's just who I am.
Oh. So, Morgan, I know you mentioned that Spider-Man Far From Home is the sequel to Endgame.
Yeah.
And I read online, now I don't know how true this is, but I read that this movie is technically the final movie of Phase 3 of the MCU. So I wouldn't call it the finale. I would think of it more as like the resolution movie, or, like the denouement, kind of pulling things together. Did it feel...
No, I think that's so interesting because it very much felt like kicking off this new world without Tony Stark. Like, post Tony Stark, like, what are we going to do? Who do we look to? Who's going to solve our problems? Who's going to lead the Avengers? Like, there was a lot of talk about, like, who's the next Tony? Who's the next Tony? And to me, that feels like setting the tone for the next phase. But I think it's interesting that they consider it kind of wrapping up Phase 3 or whatever, because to me it feels like a whole brand new start.
Well, maybe, yeah. I think it's a bit odd. I think they should have just ended on a bang with Endgame, and then given us a short break. Like, I don't need a long time, but 6 months to a year to get hyped again.
Yeah, this one did come out so fast. Like, it came out unnecessarily fast. Like, I went and saw it because, our friends were here and it was fucking Independence Day weekend, and it was like, it's a thing to do, but we didn't need a Spider-Man this summer. We didn't need it.
No. I wonder if they're getting greedy. I hope not, because that can ruin everything if they do.
They have a lot of sequels in the works. Like, if you look at the Marvel movies coming out over the next 3 to 5 years, it's insane. And they just announced Thor 4 being written and directed by Taika Waititi, who did Thor Ragnarok. Yes. But I was kind of surprised we were getting a Thor 4 because it felt like we were moving in a different direction. Like, he was going to be a part of the Guardians, and that was going to be a new thing.
Well, now they've only announced the director. There are no sneak peeks or anything like that of the movie because they haven't started it yet.
Right. Yeah.
Obviously, but
they're calling it Thor 4.
Oh, I wonder if. But he's with the Guardians of the Galaxy now. Maybe they're calling it Thor 4, but it's really like Thor and the Guardians or something.
Maybe.
Maybe it'll be like Thor 4. Thor fucks every Guardian of the Galaxy. Or something. Maybe I'll have a subtitle. Girl, me too. Holy shit. Oh, that's. You know what? If I wasn't in public, I would have just gotten a boner thinking about that. That is very hot.
Even little raccoons?
Oh, well, yeah, and maybe also not Groot. But what's that? Mostly Chris Pratt, who I was thinking about. But you know what? I wouldn't mind seeing him fuck that green lady. She's hot as hell.
Oh, yeah, she's back. Gamora.
Is she back? Okay, I still haven't seen Endgame, which is so embarrassing, but.
Oh. What?
Yeah. I know, and here's what happened, okay? You know that I'm not a huge fan of going to the cinema because I just don't like people and I'm a weird misanthrope and all this stuff. Not a misogynist, Morgan. I don't hate all women, just you.
I said that only in my head. Nobody heard me.
I know, but I read your mind and I just wanted to make sure. But no, I'm waiting for Endgame to come out on Amazon or however I can rent it or watch it. And that's also actually why I ended up not going to see Spider-Man Far From Home, because I was going to. We even talked about it and I was planning on it and all this shit. And then I was like, girl, if I haven't seen Endgame yet, it feels like sacrilegious to go see the next one without seeing the finale movie,
A lot of stuff happens in Endgame.
Yeah, I know. And it was mostly ruined for me, my goddamn Reddit. So, no worries about spoilers, but it's so sad. I mean, I would have liked to have seen Endgame in theaters, but I just hate people and there's just no way around it and I don't want to do it. Plus, that shit's expensive, my queen.
It is. It gets out of hand fast.
Mm-hmm. And the thing is, I already give so much money to feed the children. I can't afford to go see movies.
Yeah. I hear you, girl. I hear you.
It's a joke. I don't support Feed the Children, but I do support 3 local charities. Feed the Children's supposed to be a scam. I don't know if you heard about that shit, girl.
They're really rude to you on South Congress.
Oh, yes, they sure do stand at every corner, and they will guilt you.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
I saw on Reddit, Reddit again. Reddit should sponsor our asses. This episode brought to you by Reddit.
And years of your life you'll never get back.
Yeah. And many slight aneurysms you've had, because people on Reddit, a lot of them I agree with, but when they're wrong, they are so fucking wrong. I can't stand it. But anyway, I saw on Reddit, there's a subreddit called Asshole Design, I think. I don't know if you've ever been to that subreddit. But actually just today I saw an envelope from Feed the Children, and it was a picture of, a starving child. And then across the child's picture on the back of the envelope, it said, "Just throw me away. I'm used to it."
Oh.
I was like, these see, that doesn't make me want to give money. That makes me just be like, y'all are shitholes. Don't be trying to guilt me like you're my Jewish mama. That doesn't work.
Oh man, that's brutal marketing.
I know. I wonder if it works though. I bet they might get some donations from that.
Fine. Yeah, they're doing fine. Speaking of brutal marketing, Mysterio. This is my transition.
It's a good transition. Loved it.
Mysterio likes to brand himself as a superhero, and that's kind of where he's coming from. Like, ooh, I'm new, and here's my new name. I'm Mysterio. I'm a superhero. But in actuality, he is a person who is teaching us how science and illusion can fool us. And it's a really interesting new addition to the Marvel Universe.
Yes, it's great because he seems magical, but he's not, right? It's all like technical tricks and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And he, it's all very like smoke and mirrors, and it feels like a bigger commentary on like the world and also the state of like affairs in the Marvel universe. And like he feels like he has to take on this superhero persona because we as stupid people believe in superheroes, but we do not believe in science, like good science.
Do they make any kind of obvious references to like fake news or climate change deniers or anything like that in there?
Oh, girl. There's some really good stuff in the post-credit scenes. And it's like, this is one of the times where like there's 2 post-credit scenes and you need to stay for both of them because it's really good information and it tells you a lot about the new direction of the Marvel Universe and has some pretty good cameos that you'll enjoy.
Oh, okay. I have to tell you, this is probably a hot take and an unpopular opinion, but I don't like the end credit scenes or whatever. Here's the thing. I have to pee a lot.
Yeah.
You know that.
It's hard.
And yes, when a movie be ending, I want to go hit the urinal. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And yes, maybe my ass should sit there and read all the cinematographers or whatever, but those people, it doesn't fucking matter. I don't mean anything to them. And it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. They're getting paid no matter what. They get paid a lot more than I do, so they're good to go, And I want to go pee. I'm ready to go.
Agree with you. I like the early, like if they do like a little bit of credits and then they give you a scene. I like that. That's fine. But Marvel's taken it to the next step where it's that and then it's 10 more minutes of credits and then it's another thing. And it is hard on your bladder.
Yes. Think about the bladders, Marvel.
Yeah.
I was listening to Pop Culture Happy Hour. I don't know if you still listen to that podcast, but you do? Did you hear the one where they talked about Far From Home?
I did.
Okay. And that one of them, it was one of the guys, and forgive me, I listen to them all the time, but I forget their names. Oh. But he was like, people just should know by now to just sit there and wait for the end credit scene unless you're never going to see another Marvel movie. And I have to tell you, that kind of pissed me off. I felt personally attacked.
Oh,
because Girl, it's fine. I can just read later what the end credit scene was. Why my ass have to sit there? If the lights come up, that means I got to go. I don't know. That pissed me off. Gene. Is there some guy on there named Gene something or other?
Probably. I also have no idea what any of their names are.
Well, and it's funny because we hear them at the beginning and end of every single episode. But you know what, Mr. Gene, or whatever your name might happen to be, we're beefing. We're beefing. And I'm gonna bring the Beauty and the Bitch fans, and we're gonna fight the Pop Culture Happy Hour fans, and we're gonna win.
There's probably a lot of crossovers, or are fans just gonna punch themselves?
I believe there are crossovers. I believe there are cross-dressers, and yes, they will punch themselves. Yes, that's how we'll win.
Yeah, okay, I'm into
it. Speaking of stupidity, I've got another little game for you, Morgan.
Yes.
Yes? Yes. It sounds like you just did a line of coke. You said, "Oh, yes, yes." Okay. So this game is actually inspired by a little video I saw put out by IGN.
Porn?
No. I don't know what IGN stands for. International Gamers Network? Maybe. Okay. Possibly. But they quizzed Tom Holland in this video. And what they did is they said a name, and it was either a Spider-Man villain or a professional wrestler. Okay. I think this is real fun. And girl, I'm going to be straight up with you. This isn't like Two Truths and an Illusion. This shit's hard, girl.
Okay.
So prepare yourself to lose.
I'm prepared.
Okay. So I'll just say the name, and you say either wrestler or Spider-Man villain. Okay, here we go. The Kangaroo.
Spider-Man villain.
You're right. Good job. He's a boxer who, via science, somehow can jump like a kangaroo. Whoop-de-doo. Okay? Okay. Pegasus Kid.
Wrestler.
Wrestler. Yes, you're right. That was Chris Benoit's Japanese wrestling name. Okay. I don't know who Chris Benoit is, but that name sounds familiar. Did you watch wrestling back in the day?
I have dabbled in wrestling and catch WrestleMania every year.
Really? I didn't know that about you.
Yeah, casual wrestler watcher for the big.
Oh, goodness. I used to love wrestling because that shit's homoerotic, but that's either
so. Yeah, so.
Right. Okay, next up, Disco Inferno.
Oh, feels like a wrestler.
Oh my God, you're so good. Yes. This man's name is Glenn. Well, I can't tell. My ink is smudged, but he's some kind of wrestler, and he went by the name Disco Inferno, and we can all agree that's a horrible name.
Hey, I just remembered one of the pop culture people is Glenn Weldon.
And that's who it was, Mr. Glenn Weldon. I'm coming for you, Glenn Weldon.
He's coming.
Jeez Louise. I like Glenn Weldon, actually. Yeah. But he said something that pissed me off. Okay, next up, The 1000.
Spider-Man villain.
Oh, you're fucking killing it, Morgan.
Oh, yes. Dang.
The 1000, I think of the 1000. The 1000 reminds me of you because the 1000 is 1,000 spiders wearing human skin.
Oh no!
I'm sorry, that was rude. Okay. Okay. Okay, next up, The Big Wheel.
Spider-Man villain.
You're right. Now, this is the stupidest Spider-Man villain ever. He's a corrupt businessman in literally just like a big mechanical wheel. So lame.
That's boring.
I know. That's the Mick Parker of Spider-Man villains. Trying too hard.
Spider-Man take him out in like 4 minutes. Like, we're done.
Yeah, I think the way he beats him is by like tricking him to go into the water or something. It's like so stupid, girl. It's so stupid. Okay. Next up, just a few more. Okay. The Yeti.
Wrestler.
You got it. Oh my God.
I Could have gone either way on that one.
Yeah, I really thought that one was gonna fuck you up. His real name is Ron Race, and I know nothing about him, but there you go.
Perfect.
Okay. White Rabbit.
Spider-Man villain.
How the fuck are you cheating from all the way across the country?
Cheating.
This is not right. You got I thought you were gonna get all these wrong. I am so mad. Okay,
Girl.
you're right. Girl, you're a genius.
My secret is I'm putting myself in the shoes of a wrestler, and like, would I want the announcer to say those words over the intercom?
So you would want the announcer to say, "Welcome to the ring, the Yeti."
Yeah, the Yeti sounds dope, but the one about the wheel, like, for sure, no.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, the White Rabbit is a thief and criminal. She's a she, and she's inspired by Alice in Wonderland.
Love it.
Yeah. Okay, and last but not least, Rey Mysterio Jr.
Wrestler?
Definitely a wrestler. Oh my God, he was one of my earliest crushes because normally he's masked. He's normally masked. And then they tore off his mask. I think it was in like 1997, girl. He got his mask torn off. Ooh. And would you believe he was a beautiful Hispanic man?
I would.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit. God damn, he was hot.
Did I get every answer correct?
Morgan, don't let it go to your head, okay?
Am I 100% intelligent?
You're 100% something. I'll give you that.
God, it feels good to be a winner. I feel so validated.
Honestly, if I can play both sides of the fence, I'm really proud of you because shit, I thought that was so hard, and you got every single one right.
I don't always win, but when I do, I let it go to my head.
Yeah. And it's really great of you to win times like this when it doesn't matter at all.
Those are the only stakes I deal with.
That's fair. So I don't know, Morgie, like, tell me this, to sort of, I guess maybe begin to wrap us up maybe.
Yep.
How would this compare to Into the Spider-Verse? Which of the two movies do you think is better? Which would you recommend seeing first? Because they're not really connected at all, so.
As far as, like, quality Spider-Man films go, I think Into the Spider-Verse is maybe, like, the better movie because it was so different and so fascinating. But look, if you're a person who's watching Marvel movies, like, let's be fucking real. Everyone, billions of people around the world are going to see this film regardless of how well the reviews are, how much money it makes. Like, everyone's going to fucking see this movie because that's what we fucking do. Marvel has this goddamn monopoly and we're all invested. We're going to watch this. We're going to watch every bullshit movie they put out. And we're just trapped in this circle until we're dead.
Yeah, it's completely true. So what you're saying is you have no choice. You must see Spider-Man Far From Home.
Yeah, so I'm really excited for everyone listening who is 100% going to see this movie, whether you go to the theater or video on demand or you illegally stream it. You're going to see it, and we're all the same person. We are one.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We are 1,000 spiders wearing human skin.
Oh, no. Like, how can Spider-Man even beat that? That is what made them.
Girl, I'm not going to lie to you. I have never seen even one leg of those 1,000 spiders. I did not read that edition of the comic. I don't know how it happened or why they were wearing the skin or where they got the skin from, honey. Right? I don't know.
I'm scared just thinking about it.
Well, I'm kind of into it. I think it's pretty hot, actually. But, you know, to each their own.
You are broken.
I am broken and sad. Oh, my God.
Just like Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Do you have a plug for this week, Morgie Morg?
I actually do. So Mick knows my favorite hobby is sleeping and doing nothing because it's so goddamn hot outside. But I would like to plug a new podcast that a bunch of friends recommended called True Crime Obsessed. And it's a really great podcast if you like the style of ours because it's these two biffers. It's a gay fella and a straight gal, and they're hilarious just like us. And they, every episode, go through and do an episode on a documentary or a movie or a show that has been produced based on a true crime event. So that they did like the fire fraud documentary, but they also did the Ted Bundy tapes and Making a Murderer and stuff like that. So it's really good. And every episode's probably about like 45 minutes or less. And they just basically go through and they make fun of the stuff. And they talk about crime in the way that, like, I kind of talk about crime, where I'm like, lackadaisical and murder's hilarious, which, of course, it isn't, but only when you're making fun of true crime documentaries. And it's great. It's very relatable. It's funny. And if you like true crime shit, it's a good 30-minute thing to spend your time on.
Absolutely. Well, okay, here's the real question, though, Morgie. That sounds quite fascinating, actually. And I've noticed that gay men and a straight woman as co-hosts are like really common in the world of podcasting.
Well,
we're what?
Prolific.
Oh, we are prolific and also perfect.
Perfect.
Here's my question though. In a knife fight between us and this true crime podcast, who would win?
Oh, it's interesting because they're well versed in murder, so they should be prepared, but we're well versed in murdering with tiny spiders inside of people's skins. So I'm going to give us the benefit of the doubt.
Hey, that's the correct answer. Yes.
Ding, ding, ding.
Okay. Well, I also have a little plug. It's not really a surprise because we've talked about it a lot, but if you haven't seen Enter the Spider-Verse, it is on Netflix right now.
That's so great.
Yes.
I didn't know it was on there.
You know, I think it must be a recent addition, honestly, because I didn't notice it on there, and I canceled Netflix for a couple of months, and then I came back and it was there. So I was like, oh, this is fabulous.
Oh.
And Enter the Spider-Verse, didn't it win an Oscar for like sound design or something?
I think it won best animated picture.
Best animated picture. Holy shit. Yeah, so it is, I mean, look, it's won awards. Morgan and I both love it. And if you've got Netflix, you can watch that shit for free. So, you know, why not?
It's not like a kid's, like, it's fine. If you have kids, they can watch it, but it's a movie for everyone. Like, it's very age appropriate for us. Like, it's good. Yeah.
Yeah, it made me laugh. It made me cry twice. I won't say why, but I definitely shed 2 small shining tears.
Yes.
Yeah, so I would say it's really good. Oh, and there's also a really fantastic animated Stan Lee cameo, which, to be totally honest, is one of the times I cried. Only because I didn't expect it, though. I'm not like a big Stan Lee fanboy. I mean, I like him. But I didn't like sob when he died, but suddenly seeing him on screen and hearing his voice, I definitely cried like a little girl. Anyway.
Okay. Well, everybody be sure to check out True Crime Obsessed when you're done with the Beauty and the Bitch feed. And then be sure to get up on Netflix and watch that, because that's a good fucking movie.
Fuck yes, it is. Fuck yes, it is. And then, you know, while you're going on Netflix or doing podcasts, I would say you might want to go ahead and hustle on over to our YouTube page. I mean, why not?
Yes, girl. Because we have every single fucking episode on there.
Morgan, why are you lying to these people?
Okay, yeah, we're just missing like 1 or 2, but
we're
like
missing 1 or 2 episodes. We got most of them though.
That's pretty good. Pretty good.
We, you know, something we don't always mention, but we make playlists of the episodes. So let's say you're like, girl, I want to listen to all of their Lord of the Rings / Hobbit content.
Yes.
Well, baby, we got that for you right there in a playlist. All you got to do is click play and then unbutton your pants and you're ready to go.
That's right. Do it. Yeah, and if you want to hear Harry Potter, we got a playlist for that, girl. And it's good.
Yeah, girl. It's not just Harry Potter. It is Cursed Child. It is Newt Scamander. What are his damn movies? Fantastic Beasts. Mm-hmm. I mean, we cover all that. Oh, that fucking Voldemort movie, that fan-made movie we watched. That's on there.
Such a good time watching that and talking about that. That's probably one of my favorite, like, bullshit things we've done.
100% me too, because I legit enjoyed watching that movie, and I had never heard of it.
Yeah, it was so bad. I loved it.
Yeah, it was great.
Oh, it was great.
Let's see. And besides YouTube, I'm sorry, babe.
When they're done on YouTube, they're already on the internet. They might as well hop over and like us on every social media channel where they can find us at B&B-Cast, or they can just search out Beauty and the Bitch. We're on there.
Yep. And we're like real people on Instagram. You've got a personal account. Yours is Morganized Mess, correct?
That's right. Named after my blog. And you guys can find Mickey at Parker_Homestead.
That's right, where I kind of take a sharp right turn and just post pictures of my little homestead I'm living on. What did you say?
Shit bucket.
Shit! Oh, my shit bucket. That's the star of the show, girl.
Yes,
That's shit bucket.
That's real life. Real life content for real life people hitting us up on Instagram, y'all.
And then also, last but not least, y'all, if you're in love with this podcast, and how could you not be, really? Let's be serious. Why don't you just go on to iTunes and go ahead and give us a 5-star review?
Yes, and actually the 4-star button is broken, so make sure you go all the ways to 5.
Yeah, because if it's a 4-star review, actually it won't go through, and a hand will come out of the screen and just slap you in the fucking mouth.
So we can't recommend that. That's a bad move for everyone. So 5 stars only, BBs.
All right. Well, I think I've said everything I have to say, sweet baby.
Girl, same. Enjoy chatting about Spider-Man. Can't wait to hit you babies back next week.
Yes. Thank you for listening, babies. Bye.
Bye.
You have a home? Beauty in the bed. You look. Beauty in the bed. Beauty in the bed. You're
Bye.